Okay, in this session, we'll discuss the motherboard's components. We'll start with in the previous we have completed up to USB ports. Today we'll start with bus. A bus is a collection of parallel wires that form a pathway to carry address, data, and control signals. This is one definition. This can also be defined as a bus is a collection of parallel wires which carries addresses, data, and control signals. The features of buses are: a bus is a set of wire or a group of wire, and each wire can carry one bit of data. A bus width is defined by the number of wires in the bus. It means the width of the bus can be defined by the number of wires present in the bus. That decides the width of a bus. A computer bus can be divided into two types. Number one is called internal bus. Second one is called external bus. First, let's start with internal bus. It connects major computer components like processor, memory, and input-output devices. It is also called as system bus. Then what is system bus? A system bus is used to connect the majority of resources available on the computer system, like storage devices, output devices, etc. Second one, external bus. The external bus connects the different external devices like expansion slots, I/O ports to the rest of the computers. External bus are also called as expansion bus and is slower than the system bus. The external bus are slower than the internal buses. If you like this video, please subscribe it. The system bus consists of three types of buses. Normally, for exam point of view, for 1 mark, these three buses are very important: data bus, address bus, and control bus. Now, first one, data bus. The data bus provides a path to transfer data between CPU and memory. The data bus may consist of 32 bits or 32 lines of wires, or 64 lines of wires, or 128 lines of wires. These lines of wires decides the width of the bus. And the second bus is address bus. The address bus connects CPU and RAM with a set of lines similar to data bus. The address bus width determines the maximum number of memory location the computer can address. It means normally the address bus carries the address of the data. Then third one, control bus. The control bus is used to control the access to and the use of the data and address lines. Means control bus controls the access and the use of data and address lines. Then next we'll start with the memories. At the end of that components of motherboard, that was the remaining one bus. Then the next heading is memory. As you all know that computer memory is nothing but a space to store the data and instructions. That's why you can say that a computer memory refers to the electronic storing space for instructions and data. This space in a computer where we can store the data or instructions. That we call it as a memory. The memory is broadly classified into two types. Number one is called as primary memory or main memory, and second one is called as secondary memory. Now we'll start with primary memory or main memory. Primary memory is the main memory of the computer. It stores programs and data which are currently needed by CPU. For processing, CPU requires the data that are currently present in the primary memory. It means CPU collects data from primary memory to process it. Then we'll study about the functions of primary memory. To contain a copy of main software program, that is operating system, when the computer boots, with the help of BIOS, the operating system loads it onto the primary memory. Then next function is primary memories stores temporarily. Whatever the data or instructions or a software is present in the primary memory is temporary. Then temporarily store the result which is generated from processing until it is transferred to output device. When you perform some computation or calculation, example, we want to get the addition of two numbers, that is 2 and 2 are the two numbers. Then 2 plus 2, it performs the calculation. Then after the calculation, it has generated the result as 4. But before displaying it on the monitor, it stores in a primary memory. Then it displays on the monitor. It means the output which will generate after the calculation, that will be temporarily stored in primary memory first, then that will be displayed on the monitor. Now, again, these primary memories are broadly classified into two types. Number one is called as RAM and second one is called as ROM. If you observe the image here, This image is nothing but a RAM. RAM stands for random access memory, and it is also called as the main memory of the computer. RAM temporarily stores the computer, operating system, application program, and current data so that the processor can reach them quickly. It means the main task of RAM is first, it loads our operating system onto it, first thing. Then second, if you are opening any application software, that will be again loaded into RAM only. Again, that is also temporary. Even for processing purpose, whatever the data we are providing, that current data will be again stored in RAM only. These are the three major operations that RAM performs, but everything is temporary here. When you compare the processing speed of RAM, it is faster memory. RAM is a faster memory. As you said that whatever the content of RAM is there, it is a temporary. That's why you can say that RAM is volatile in nature. This RAM stores our data or a program or any software until the power goes off. Once the power goes off, it erases the content of it. That's why we can say that it is a temporary memory. Again, this RAM is divided into two types. The number one is called SRAM and second one is called DRAM. First, SRAM. SRAM stands for static RAM. Static RAM chip is usually used in cache memory due to its high speed. Static RAM is faster memory. That's due to that reason, this is usually used in cache memory. What is cache memory? That we'll learn in the later class. Then it stores information as long as the power supply is on, because it is RAM. But the only type is changed, static RAM. It also holds the data or software until the power goes off. SRAM is more expensive than the DRAM and it keeps up more space. This is about static RAM. Then second one, DRAM. DRAM stands for dynamic RAM, that is dynamic random access memory. It is the most common type of memory chip. These DRAMs are cheaper and they consume less power comparing to SRAM. It uses transistors and capacitors as the content. Further, these DRAMs are classified as SDRAM and DDR-RAM. Now, we'll study about SDRAM. SDRAM stands for Synchronous Dynamic Random Access Memory. It is synchronized to the system clock. It means the speed of this SDRAM is equals to the clock speed of the system. Since it is synchronized to the CPU, that is, it is equal to the CPU speed, it is known when the next cycle coming and has the data ready when the CPU requests it. It means this SDRAM speed is high. Due to that reason, it knows that which is the next instruction to be processed in CPU, which is the next instruction CPU may request. That will be known by this RAM. Then DDR-RAM. DDR stands for Double Data Rate Random Access Memory. It works same as SDRAM, but the data transfer rate is double when compared to SDRAM. The name itself specifies that double data rate. That's why it is double faster than SDRAM. The different types of DDR RAMs are DDR1, DDR2, and DDR3. Then the second type of primary memory, that is read-only memory. In short, ROM. ROM stands for read-only memory. This ROM is non-volatile memory. That is, if the information stored in it is not lost even when the power supply goes off. It is used for permanent storage of information, but the user cannot access this. The user cannot store the data into it. Then the last, we can discuss the difference between RAM and ROM. That completes the primary memories. That is, to compare the RAM and ROM, RAM stands for random access memory, ROM stands for read-only memory, and RAM is a volatile memory. It is also called as temporary memory, and ROM is non-volatile memory. It means it is called as permanent memory. The RAM is volatile because it is power dependent, whereas the ROM is non-volatile because it is power independent. And the RAM contains normally the files, whereas the ROM contains the BIOS in it, that is basic input-output system in it. Then the types of RAM are SRAM and DRAM, whereas the types of ROM are PROM, EPROM, and double EPROM, that is programmable read-only memory, erasable programmable read-only memory, and electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. This is all about the memory. In that, the first part, that is primary memory, is complete. After watching this video, if you like this, share with others and also subscribe for it. Thank you.